The leader of Thailand's opposition protest says demonstrators will not disrupt general elections this Sunday. Early election days ago turned violent as protesters set up blockades preventing people from voting. This time, thousands of troops are being sent to secure the polls. Simon Mawson is in Bangkok for us with the latest developments. So, Simon, you covered the protest just a couple of weeks ago. You're back in Bangkok. Do you see any change in the mood or tone of the city?
Well, Patricia, you would expect leading up to the election that the anti-government protesters didn't want to see go ahead, there would be many more people out on the streets. But this time around, when I arrived in Bangkok, I took a walk around the city just to gauge what the mood was like, how many people were out this time, and I would say considerably less. We don't have official figures this morning as they stand, but as people were marching, they are still marching between these major intersections that they are attempting to block around the city. But I would say now it's people in their hundreds rather than the thousands that we saw under the Bangkok shutdown protest, which basically hasn't managed to shut down the capital city at all. The mood, though, amongst the protesters still very spirited. Suthep, the protest leader, has come out and said that they won't obstruct the electoral process. They won't stop people from voting, but they do object to it and asking people not to go and vote. They are still trying to get out there on the streets, have their message heard. And of course, this is the Chinese New Year weekend. And they are planning to go out tomorrow around the streets over the weekend to Chinatown specifically, dressed in red, ironically. Now, that's the colour of the pro-government supporters. So dressed in red, of course, a very lucky colour, a special colour for Chinese people, particularly at a time of Chinese New Year. They're going out to try and get their message heard one last time before the election comes Sunday. Patricia?
So, Simon, with these troops deployed and fewer protesters on the street, has the concern for further violence diminished then?
Not at all, unfortunately. Last weekend, when there were some polling stations open, just a week ahead of the formal election, just to allow people to get some advance voting done, one of the protest leaders was shot dead. There have been various outbreaks of violence, up to 10 people killed over the last few months, while these protests have carried on, and 10,000 security personnel are on standby for Sunday. And just talking to people on the streets, talking to people sitting down having a cup of coffee yesterday, I asked them, are you going to be out on Sunday? How do you feel about things here? Many of them saying that we're very scared about what's going to happen on Sunday. We're really not sure. There is an air of hesitation around Bangkok in particular, where this protest really is being felt. There are concerns around the rest of Thailand as well, but Bangkok is effectively where it's at. The shutdown protest is trying to shut down the capital city. And by the way, Patricia, a lot of people avoiding coming into Bangkok. Tourists, for example, the lucrative tourism industry that Thailand has enjoyed. A lot of people not flying into Bangkok. The airport rather quiet at immigration when I arrived as well. People are just diverting around and going elsewhere in Thailand. Patricia?